it's like a child behaving like an orphan when the parents are alive. Why?
Yeah.
Of what benefit is that to you?
Yeah.
Even more, how much would it hurt your mom for you to go scavenging out there as though she doesn't exist? She'll ask you, do you think I don't love you? Is that what you think? Is that what you've believed? I think that's where people stumble. I don't know, honestly, if people have a right belief about God. Because out of right believing, right living follows. When you believe right, you live right.
Hello, welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Capture the Thoughts. And today we have an amazing guest, Yeukai Chandiposha, who is a creative director, a dancer, and a theatrical director. I mean, she is just the coolest. Hi, Yeukai. It's exciting to have you here with us today.
Hey, Lady G.
I love it.
Thank you for having me.
I love the Lady G bit. I am going to adopt it and run with
Own
it.
Own it.
So we're gonna go straight into it.
Cool.
If you could be grateful about 3 things, what would those things be?
Is it okay to answer with a question?
Yes, you can answer with a question.
Okay. 3 things in I feel like I have 3 in every area of my life. So I need to know 3 things in my career, 3 things in my life.
I mean 3 things in your life.
Okay. I'm grateful for my family. Could not do this, could not be me without them. And by family, I mean the people that raised me. And now also the people that I'm raising. Both are life changing. One made the life, the other is changing the life that was made. I don't know if that even makes sense.
You make a lot of sense.
Cool. I'm also grateful for I'm grateful for the leadership that I've experienced. I've experienced leadership in many places. In some places, leadership has been thrust upon me, but I've always felt like there's a particular season of leadership that I went through that really shaped me, and that's my time in Rolex as a dancer. Sean, my umbrella was like the official leader. He was an epic leader, but we led each other though, and I think what I appreciate most is that they allowed me to lead them as well. That's been so impactful. Number 3. There's food. I got a lot of things that I love in my life. I am thankful for the cushion that is Jesus. Yeah, I'm not a good gambler, so to know that I've got someone, it's fail safe.
Yeah,
I could make the worst possible decision in my life, whether it's career, whether it's money, and I've done that. I've gotten hooked on weird things, started to invest in some things, and it's like the feeling that says don't go through it. Then you go through it, but then immediately comes I can rescue you. So that cushion for me, it's made life freer. I can make a mistake. And it's okay. I'm not looking forward to, right, because you spent all your money in 6 months of starvation, so you know how to make a budget. No. it's okay. We've done this. Here's what we can do now. Yeah, I think
that's good. It's really, really good. I love the last one especially. I mean, all of them are good, but I love the last one especially when you talked about Jesus and how he's there to rescue you and how you always feel safe and protected by him. That's really good. And so can you tell me a bit more about your background and your upbringing? What was it like growing up for you?
I am the last of three daughters. I grew up in a place called Munyati. Not Sanyati people. Munyati.
All right, we're taking notes.
This happens a lot. I'm like, oh, I grew up in Munyati. So, you know how the power stations have like a community.
Mm-hmm.
The community is made up of people that work at the station.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little town like that.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody there works at the power station.
Mm-hmm.
My dad worked there, and that's where I grew up. But I was going to school in Kwekwe. Yeah, so this is why when people ask me where are you from, I feel like I've been from everywhere because I lived in Munyati, right? I was doing school in Kwekwe, then I did school in Kweru, then I did university in Bulawayo.
Yo,
before moving here.
You've been to a few places.
So career-wise, where are you from? I'm from Bulawayo. Okay, so that's where it started. Okay. From life-wise, I'm from Munyati. That's where I grew up. My family, yeah, we were a well-to-do family. My mom's a teacher. My dad's an accountant. Oh, they were. They're retired now. We're very like strict. I feel like I lived my sisters and I lived our lives in a single file. You know, Judy, Imbi, yo, that's how we served food. That's how homework was submitted. That's how we sat in the bus. That's how it was just how it is. But I love my upbringing. I've always been the wacky one of the team.
Ooh, there's the creative right there. There's the creative.
But wackiness gets you in trouble, see? Yep. So I'm also the one that got out of those snackings because I could not sit down, did not know how to sit down. It felt as though like I needed to move to think, which is the complete opposite of my sisters. I've got one she's just graceful. Judith is just graceful. Her makeup is graceful. Bimbai is the boffin of the house. Bimbai could read a math book, like holding it like a novel like this. Yeah, she's just going through patience. That was Bimbai. And Bimbai cried when she got a B for what? What is it? Geography. I wasn't even sure what it was. But she cried as though, like, here I was just edging past my B, But yeah, grew up in Miati there. I just told you where I did school. Went to university. I studied library and information science at NAST, and that's where I met Sean, who was doing applied mathematics there. Which I told him, who would do maths for a living? Well, who are you? Anyways, he turned out to be one of the coolest people I know. He's not boring at all. Yeah. Yes, then we did. Wait, but that's my upbringing, right?
Yeah, well, it's also part of it, I guess.
It's part of it, I guess. Cool. So we started Rolex there. I actually found him and a friend, Shingi. So we're all part of River of Life. It was then River of Life. It's now called New Creation Church. River of Life Bulawayo was a branch out of River of Life here in Harare. Loved it. Because I'd been Catholic from grade 7. I was sent to boarding school in grade 7, and the school I went to was Catholic. And then I went to Guinea Fowl for high school, and then it was Catholic. But then I went to Midlands Christian College, which was not Catholic. It had the kind of New Creation vibes, just a lot more white, I think. I don't know if that's even allowed to be said.
No, it's
okay. But yeah. But it was there that I learned that God is a father. Up until that time, I think I'd given my life to Christ probably 4 or 5 times.
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't know, I felt like it was a contract I needed to renew, like on a termly basis, that it, so that I didn't come home from boarding school and my mom has died, or because you're away for 3 months at a time. And if the setup, I'm at the school, then it's a government school, you don't get visiting days, you like get maybe one in the term. So the fear of a parent dying before I got home was real. And I felt if I'm going to secure, it doesn't even make sense, guys, but it was on me. Like, I have to be a good person, have to pray. And every night was a prayer of desperation, begging, Lord, look after Mama, Daddy, look after Gogo, look after this person, look after this person. And I think what also made worse was, it did happen to some classmates of mine. One random Thursday in the middle of the term, people come to get you to school. We see you 3 weeks later, you tell us, no, my mom had died. So that was hard. So now I arrive at MCC and I'm being told God is a father that loves you and is interested in your life. And I was just like, unbelievable. For this reason, I will follow you. I will follow with my follower, and I will do it well. I think if ever I had a reason for salvation, for me it was Jesus is the kindest of them all. I think whether the argument was there are many ways to heaven, there are many beliefs out there that are good that achieve results. Of all of them, he's the kindest. He's the kindest to me. And that's where I think the difference is. I'm not even looking for the power and the wow and the vavoom. He doesn't require me to be up at 4 a.m. to sacrifice. He doesn't require me to bring my children with me. I don't have to pray with beads until I complete the beads 3 times. There are no requirements. And yet he gives himself to me fully. I'm like, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that's my life pretty much. Yeah.
So that decision of coming to Christ, was it a progressive thing? Like, in terms of making that decision, did it take time for you once you started going to MCC, right? Did it take time for you to for it to kind of sink in that he's the father, or it was just, okay, I heard a sermon one day and yes, this is me, I'm gonna accept Christ?
This was one Sunday.
It was this one Sunday.
They had because I was a boarder there as well, so they had Sunday service every Sunday. But then the thing is, they would have a combined service at the school. So the church at MCC, or the ministry at MCC, was from Cornerstone Church, which was in town. And so they would it happened to be a combined service that happened, and the 2 branches that were there, they had the neighborhood has just left my mind. But anyway, both of them were in town, and then they came, and I hear this stuff like, okay, right, whoa, I've been missing this. And you said, what about the Holy Spirit? I want that too. So I went. I told Jesus I'm in, and whatever else you have, whether I get it or I don't. I heard people speaking in tongues. I don't know what that is. I want it, and I got saved, and I was baptized in the Holy Spirit in the same go. Actually, I haven't thought about the experience for a long time. Just I'm realizing now that both happen at the same time.
That's interesting. That really happens. I mean, it does happen, but it doesn't happen often that you get baptized in the Holy Spirit as soon as you're saved.
Yeah.
It doesn't often happen.
Doesn't it really sound theologically accurate? Like, should you not have a bit of time training in the gospel? But no, that's what actually happened. What grace, guys.
Yeah. That is amazing. It's amazing. It is. Wow. That's beautiful. And so tell me about your purpose. How did you discover your purpose?
In retrospect, in hindsight, I think it was a progressive thing. What it felt like at the moment was very rushed and very sudden and very peculiar. So I had been at school. My sister Judith, the eldest, was working at Barclays in Gweru. So she decided one Wednesday to come take me home. So we were allowed to go to school, to go home, like every weekend if you wanted to. And then she come, so she came pick me up, and I'm like, "What are you doing? I'm coming home on Friday. Why taking me home on a Wednesday?" She's like, "Ah, no, Jack." Took me to church and decided, because she wanted to pass by and get a Bible, which I now know she was lying, and walked me into a rehearsal and told people that I'm their new member.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't know what this is about. She's like, you're gonna dance with them. So she made the decision that I will be dancing with this team. And she left me there to rehearse. Came back, took me back, and that was my life since. And that team became for one reason. We were, how do I call it, a church outfit. I don't know. Yeah, but we started to dance. We were dancing like over the holidays. I was there every day. Every day. I felt like I was living off of this. But then came a point, not long after that, in the school term. So the holiday passed, and then the school term happened, and we were asked now to dance at school for MCC service, and I said absolutely not. I live with these people, and the people at school did not know me as a creative. I was not cool. Okay, I was not popular.
What?
Legit, guys.
What?
The people that like disbelief in your voice, but it's true. There was nothing about me that was desirable. I mean, I wasn't cute. I was short. I was just the wrong height for this. I was the wrong size for that. I really didn't have friends. I did not have any friends. So when we were asked now to dance at MCC, I said absolutely not. So I told them, no, I can't do it for my own reasons, and they said, no, it's okay. And that performance was postponed several times until the one time they're rehearsing, and I'm still saying I'm not dancing, and then I heard a voice, and I know now this was, I think even then I knew it, that this is God's audible voice, and the words came, baby, it sounded like my dad, baby, if you don't do this today, I'm not gonna love you any less. You'll still have me, but don't think I'll ask you again.
Sure.
So I was like,
yeah.
Ma sat up straight, picked myself up, and walked into rehearsal. I said, I'll do it today. And I did it afraid. I wore my hat all like the brim right down to my nose. I did not want to see anyone. I didn't want to think about anything. It was for 2 minutes. It was a 2-minute dance. And the moment we were done, I ran outside. I didn't stay for service. And I think right then, I also got a word of knowledge. I did not know what I would have known what it was. But someone came and told me, God saw what you did and he's proud. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to go back to hostel, and I did go back to hostel, and yes, I did get persecuted or laughed at about all of it. But others were quite surprised. They're like, we did not know you had that in you. But just looking at things now in retrospect, I've always been interested in movement and dance. My grandma bought us videos every year she came for Christmas, and the one year she came with the video Ye River Dance, the original. How do people wear little skirts like this that they dance and no one sees their underwear? And I had all these questions, and I was so moved by the theatrical power of it, and the music, and the dancing with their feet alone. And on the other hand, there's Janet Jackson. She was hot in the day, and honestly, we are a part of the rhythm nation. Blew my mind. The costume, the prowess, just groups of people moving in and out of each other. That was so impactful. And it turns out my mom and dad used to have me as a baby in nappies. They'll have me dance on the table. Hansi, you loved it. So the all things that are coming up now in my adulthood, right? But that's my creative journey. So by the time I met Sean, I was ready.
Hey.
I was ready. Yeah.
That is so cool. You mentioned how God kind of not maybe directed your start into dancing, right?
Yeah.
And so how have you seen his move throughout your journey in the creative space? Not just dancing, but I know you do other stuff as well. Yeah, how
the other stuffing is also God. But do you know what why I think here's where the cushioning comes in. Having Jesus is every step of the way I got somebody I can ask. And if I miss it, I know if I miss it with my own direction, I know for sure I'm going to be veered right back. Right. So I never need to worry about being in God's purpose. I've stopped trying to make it happen. And my true story, people ask me to come talk about the arts, about, growing in the arts, making money as an artist, all of these things. Okay, how to get opportunities, how does an artist, and my cheat code vele, and they don't I don't know what they don't want to hear it. Okay, I don't make things. I am the worst marketer. I do not market myself because I did one. Right, I've never had to. Every place, every stage, every tour, every opportunity I've gotten has literally been a grace thing.
Wow.
Grace puts me there, so grace keeps me there. I've never had to. Honestly, I feel like if whatever you do to get somewhere, you gotta keep doing or better to stay. And I look at this scenario, my life and my calling, whether it's dancing, whether it's directing now, whatever it is God puts me where I'm gonna be useful for however long He needs me to be useful there. And the things that come out of that are you are taken care of. That sounds a little bit rambly, but I don't know if that made sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah. So that without God, there actually would be no career, I think. I would have gone to school, finished my degree in library information science. I was headed in the direction of becoming a medical librarian. That was the plan. But it's almost as though in the last few weeks of my degree, the dance took off in ways that it could not be denied or it could not be ignored by me, by my parents, everybody. So, excuse me. Then there was no more fight. It's very difficult to tell your child who's being flown to the US to represent the country dancing that what you're doing doesn't work. Okay. So yeah, I remember everybody was just shocked. Everyone was shocked as I was shocked that I was leaving the country with the US flag. No, the US flag and the Zimbabwean flag. And I'm gonna go dance for a number of weeks. And my mom and dad were just like, just remember to come home, Yeah, we came back and we actually had to have a conversation. They're like, you know what, Yeukai, like any parent, they were really concerned about my life choices. And the idea of dancing it scared them. It scared them as an industry. It also scared them that I was the only girl in a team of 5 boys. Yeah. So they just want to know, what are you doing? And like I would always say, it's like, okay, honestly, kana ndikafuta nana tete na namba yako kuti akutamba nevakomana ndozvauri kuita. Doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right, but it's actually it's accurate. But it's
life of them.
You're dancing with guys.
It was a point of contention for a long time until this validation came. And they're like, okay, it's something that important people that we've never met or experienced look at. So, yeah.
Wow. And so, what would you say have been the bumpiest points throughout this journey, and how have you managed to persevere through that in your purpose? Because it's easy to get discouraged and think, okay, this is not working out. Let me just shift and do something else.
Retrospect helps, eh?
It does.
Yeah, the bumpiest things for me, I think probably is still the bumpiest thing for me now is transitions. The unsettling of things to get you to move. Maybe now with a little more experience, I'm more apt to say, okay, God, am I moving or am I fighting? Because it's difficult as a Christian to know whether you are, am I fighting a demon here?
Yeah.
Or should I be rebuking, fighting, or are you moving me? Is it a fight or is it obedience?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's always been a blurry line for me. And more so before I started to really settle into the idea of, so did I make a mistake? Definitely it's been transitions. I've had 3 injuries that were career changing. 2 I bounced back from, 1 not so much. So first one was a fractured ankle. It took a bit of time, but I bounced back into the industry, was able to continue dancing. Not long before that, tore some ligaments in my knees. That took longer. That took me about a year to come back from. And just as I was now starting to really get into the groove and starting to teach some classes, I slipped a disc in my back.
Ouch.
Now, that took me down. That could have been the scariest moment of my life. Not only because the thing about hurting yourself as a dancer is your income is attached to your body. So if that's just all your income streams. If I was doing wedding steps, if I was doing choreography for a show, if I was auditioning for something, if I was teaching classes, all of it is cut kawan in one injury. And that was hard. But the back one was especially scary because for the first time we had to ask the question, can she carry children full term? That shook me to the core. And people are asking each other, you can hear them. It's like what do we do? And your husband's also being asked now, long term, if you had plans for a family, she can't give you one. But how would things look? Are you okay to continue? Do you want to keep? Hey!
Yeah, that is.
I got my word.
That must have been scary.
Yeah, and the reality is, I knew it was serious because I did not have at the time the pelvic strength to push out pee.
Wow.
So I had to be tubed up for me to be able to urinate. And my mom came. I have a friend. Her name is Yvonne. She came when she heard what happened. I was teaching a class, and my back just gave in. It wasn't even glamorous. You know what I mean? I wasn't on stage doing some epic move. I was teaching a class, and my back gave in. I remember just teaching, and I just went. I'm like, something's not okay. So it was a fitness class, so there were about 3 other instructors there. So I just kind of shimmied on my way. I thought, no, let me sit down. But it quickly escalated, and the ladies who were in the class, 2 saw me, came and they picked me up from the chair. They took me to the back, and I had to lie on my back, lie on my belly. Called in the ambulance. I couldn't breathe. The pressure of on the back hurt. It was excruciating. So I had to do That's how I breathed until the paramedics came. That's how I breathed until my husband came, until I was taken to hospital. And then when they saw what it's come out of position. They're talking about putting rods in there. And I knew then I'm like, I can't dance after this. Now I'm asking Jesus, should I be fighting this? Or are you moving me a different direction? I'm like, God, if you've called me to dance, how do I fracture a foot, hurt like tear ligaments, and then slip it back in the disc, a disc in the back? Or is this you saying, Yeukai, you're not listening? I told you to stop. Did you tell me to stop? Why am I here? God, I want babies. I want babies. and now I can't have them. That was hard. That was hard. But the miracle of a cushioning God, the disc slipped itself back in.
Wow.
I was in hospital for 2 days.
Wow.
We went from discussing thousands of dollars of surgery and scans and physio and all of this to paying my stay for those 2 nights and the specialist that came to see me, and that was all that we it slipped back in. And you know what happened? When you're like, okay, it's hard to sleep when you're braced and they have stilts on you, right? But then people have to sleep, so you have to find a way to sleep also. You can't have a nurse aid all day, all night. So I fell asleep in that position, and I'd been there, like I'd done the one night, a whole day, and then I fell asleep in that position. And then when I woke up the next day, I turned over, and as I'm waking up, I'm like, and I realized, why am I turning over? I could hardly breathe. And I sat up.
Wow.
So I called Ro. I'm like, Ro, something's happening here. So he thought maybe something had gone wrong. When he came in, I'm propped up on the bed. He's like, what is this? I'm like, I think I've been healed. I'm not sure what's going on. Specialist came in. He did a rough check. So he put his hand where it had slipped because you could feel it from the outside. He's like, well, there's nothing there right now. Let's go do and a.r.t, the scan code. I know it cost money to do that scan. And for sure, it was back in place. What I had to heal from now was the bruised tissue that had been pushed out.
Wow.
I went home.
That is a miracle.
I carried both children full time. I had natural birth. I can't. Like, from then on, guys, it's just like, Mari, wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
That is beautiful. So would you take that as kind of like an affirmation of like God affirming the path that he had put you on, basically? Him showing you that he wanted you to continue.
Again, the transitions. So I went back to dancing. And soon after that came my baby. Because I think I started, okay, look, if I'm going to be healed, Lord, let's get this going.
Yeah.
I want a child. And yes, we got pregnant with my son. But then also other things started to happen, and that was interest in theater, which I'd been involved as a cast member. You know what I mean? So if I was looking for work, I'll be looking to be part of someone's show. But this lady Chiesa, she came and she had this book that she'd written, and she said, "Can you put this together for me?" I'm like, I don't know. I can tell you who can. I gave her a list of people who I knew in the industry were. I picked her art directors, and she looked through it, and she said, "Well, I was hoping you would do it."
Wow.
I was like, I'm a dancer, bro. I mean, I've been in a cast, but I know I'm a dancer. But I'm telling you, I've given you good names. So I thought it was a figures thing for her. I thought like it's a budget thing. I'm like, no, what guys? Okay, no, I'll negotiate for you. She's like, no, I want you to direct it. So she was adamant about me that I'm directing it. And then I took on the job and I asked her, you think this is a good idea? He says, well, she's come to you. So I'm like, great. Then grace to do the show came and turned out to be one of the biggest successes of my life.
Wow.
In fact, of my career, really.
Oh, wow.
It was a career-changing success. And I look back on that and I think that is God, definitely. There's nothing in my resume that would make me... It made zero sense to be on a stage. I'm looking at the people at NAMA. They're there, they're getting awards for other things, and they're in the running for the best director. And I win it with zero experience. That makes zero sense.
Oh my gosh, that's God. Yeah, that is God.
Can you put it with anyone else? Would it make sense for me to say, Yeukai, you're that good? No. I show it.
Wow.
And the other thing, my other NAMA also happened in the middle of healing from my knee tendon issues. And again, is Yeukai that good? That outperform something on a healing knee so well as admit that, and it would beat the other full-on younger dancers. Let's talk about age, fam. It's real. Honestly, I feel like whenever I go into a rehearsal space, I am literally the oldest person there. I'm like, I am the ancient of days of the arts. I'm like, I'm just here, I'm doing a workshop with all these lighties. But somehow, he keeps me in there and I'm keeping up. I don't... do I die afterwards? Maybe. But, yeah. God, I think here's the other thing. I've stopped trying to figure it out. Whether he has not told me in the way that he told me the first time, what you are, I want you to dance. He has not told me to stop in that way. But I have had a lot of things intercept and come in that are good. Wongile being one of them. So Creative being another. Little Arrows being the next. And these things have come in and have created a path for me where I was not sure. I mean, no, a path where there wasn't one. Pretty much. And I think like in my early days, when Sean and I were still starting out as a team, I got a word of knowledge about being a trailblazer, and I didn't understand what that was. I was like, whatever, I'll take it. Just, do you want me to trailblaze? I'll take it. Of course, naivety, but sincerity of the young Christian. You just gotta go in there and whatever happens, Jesus. And by the time also with like I had no money, and my family was like, right, if you're gonna dance, we're just not gonna support you.
Wow.
We're just not going to take care of you in the season. I just graduated, but I was in Bulawayo, dancing still, and they were paying for my upkeep at the time. And they're like, listen, Yeukai, actually, we're not going to keep you in Bulawayo anymore. This makes sense. Get a job with your degree. I'm like, but I've been called to dance. Like, okay. Then whoever called you to dance must take care of it.
You.
I'm like, okay.
It sounds harsh, but it's actually...
It was harsh, but it was real. And also, I think at that time I also just felt the assurance in me. And I said this to my children: don't do this to your mothers, don't do this to your parents ever again. Or anyone else looking after you, don't do it. I said on the phone, you know what, it's okay, because whatever provision from God that was for me, that was coming through you, would then find a different channel to come. It's okay. So if you don't feel bad. And I wasn't angry. I was like, no, Mama, if you no longer feel like you can do this, Mama, Daddy, Judy, it's perfectly fine, because there's a provision that is for me from God. That right now is coming through you because you're my family. But if this channel shuts, the water will flow a different way. It'll still come. So I'm good. And they shut the channel. And I was good.
Amen.
I was good for like a month. And whether it is that they felt bad, or I don't know what it was, but they came back, I just think it's started to pay things again. Like, I thought I just don't. We left it there. But don't go talking back to your African parents, fam.
Probably not. It's not a great idea. And so you've mentioned your husband.
Yes.
And so when you have a specific purpose, sometimes it can be hard to find someone who gets your purpose and who is willing to align their lives with it.
Yeah.
And so how has that been for you?
Number one, yes, the streets are bleeding out there. But the truth is, they've been bleeding. They have been bleeding for yonks. Okay? So this type of situation is complicated. So I avoided it altogether. I told the Lord, I am not getting married. What man is going to be out there who's going to understand that I dance? I dance with a team of men.
Yeah.
So I just was not looking.
Yeah.
And that's the advice again. I don't know if people want to hear this sort of thing, because I told God I'm not looking, and my focus is you. My focus is my purpose. I want to run this race. I want to finish it well, and I'll do whatever it takes. And what he then did was put my husband in my path. No, I've said this to Ro and to other people who were out. I'm like, God put me in a position where I could not go over, under, or around. Romeo was in my path.
Okay.
It was just, there was no going over it. I could not kill this crush. I could not deal. And it, I think that also takes a ton of anxiety out of the situation. And it turned out for him, he was also at a point where he was like, hey, Romeo had been in other relationships. I had not. And he'd kind of dug his heels in and said, you know what, I've done this. It's not great. Let me do something that I'm better with. Well, he just joined Rolex at the time. So we're dancing together in the team. And he's like, okay, Lord, I've done this, I've tried. So I'm just going to go ahead and follow this path right now. First, for as long and for as far it'll go. So here we are. We've been plugged in each other's paths. And then, okay, he'll tell us, I'm going to tell it my way. But then he says, we came out rehearsal one day.
Yeah.
We were rehearsing at a gym in Bulawayo, and we're getting ready for a competition. And Sean likes to give briefings after rehearsals and after competitions, because you gotta keep track of your progress and all these things. He was like on point like that. Yeah. So we came out of rehearsal, and we're in this kind of little podcast outside a circle, and we talk about things. Okay, it's like, for the show we're gonna do this and everything else. And he says, I kind of blacked out and I saw you, and I said to God, and like, I think about it, I think I was not in my best anything. I was tired. We'd been in there for hours. I was hungry, so I was cranky. I was sweaty. I did not smell good. And in that moment, he saw beauty. And that's when he fell in love. So, I did not want to figure it out the same way I did not want to figure out career or money. Same way, even now, I don't market. The biggest thing about Ro and I is, like, we're friends. We were besties. We actually knew each other for a long time before he even came Rolex and all of this. We first met through Guinea Fowl High School. I was in Form 1, he was in Form 2. And we were about the same height at the time. He then just grew at Form 3. I was like, wow. And we're in the same volleyball team. So we did volleyball together, we did choir together. Yeah. I was particularly short growing up. So the many things I tried out for, I was kicked out for the sake of height. Volleyball gave me a chance. Karate gave me a chance. the choir gave me a chance. So that's the only things that I did.
Mm.
And he was in 2 of those clubs. So I'm like, great. Our homies. And then I moved schools to go to MCC when he was becoming a senior and I was now getting into Form 4. So we disconnected. And then yonks later, I'm now at NAST, starting this whole dance thing with the Shol and Shingi. And we meet at church. He comes to New Creation because I knew him as Catholic. Yeah. He was Catholic. And then he comes to New Creation. And I remember, like, we saw each other. He was coming out the door, and I was just coming from another side, going up the stairs, coming this way. I'm like, ah. He's like, ah, yo. I'm like, ah, Posh. Because that was high school name. His volleyball name was Posh, Chandiposha. Posh. And we connected as though nothing had happened in between. Yeah. And he started to come to all the stuff that we were doing as Rolex. And then eventually he then joined the team. So we were friends. And I remember I told Romeo this at some point. I told God, I told him, I'm like, listen, I'm in your life. Okay? I have decided that I'm going to be in your life. And I'm going to be there when you get married. I'm telling him all these things.
Little did you know.
I want to be there when you have children. I'm like, I did not know I'll be the one getting the children. I'll be carrying the children. But I remember I told him, you are my friend. I'm going to look after you. I'm going to be in your life. And I was intent. I'm going to, Lord, give this man a good wife. I prayed for him. Give him a woman that will love him. Lord, prosper his ways. Lord, his interest. Lord, heal him from what he's going through. And I was just in his life. He could not get rid of me. That's probably maybe why he decided because I'm like, I can't get rid of you anyway. So
might as well get married to you.
Might as well marry you. I don't know, but that was my posture with him, and so being together is it feels natural. It feels like we could not live without each other. What that looks like though as a calling, what is our marriage purpose? What is the purpose of God bringing us together? Yes, it's what the companionship. Yes, it's for us to enjoy each other because God wants that too. We are still discovering what our life journey is. What is our family? What were we brought together to do and to be? That part is still, we're figuring it out through the diapers and all. I think it just feels like it's a lot. Honestly, it's difficult sometimes to pray. I know for me, my mornings are early, my nights are late. I don't have nights sometimes, but it's a season that it's passing. And I'm saying this to you now, then I hear right now in my heart, it's the season that's part of the journey. It's not a thing that is outside of the calling. It's just a part of what the calling is. Wow, Lord, thank you. That is such affirmation. That's great.
That is amazing.
Thanks for showing up, Jesus. That's so nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is beautiful. And so, what would you say to someone who's still trying to figure themselves out?
Don't try to figure yourself out. There's a manual for everything that was made ever. Go and figure out from the manual. And the cool thing about us is we don't have to go and read the manual. The manual is a living being. The guy who made you, the guy whose idea you are, is here, alive, well, breathing. Go and ask him. There's a scripture in James that says, if you want to know what the Lord wants you to do, ask him. He'll gladly tell you. That is a very watered down translation of it. But Another one in James says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives to all men liberally, without reproach. He's not going to look at you and think, how are you 25 and not knowing what you're doing in life? He's not going to do that. There's that's safety. I'm like, so I can go to God and say, right, I have 2 children and I do not own a house. What's happening? He speaks. I honestly think the safest place for anyone to be is following what God has for you to do. Ask him what it is and give him the license to direct you. So don't, okay, let me not make a don't. I'll give you an example. Lord, I want to be within your will. I don't know what that is. What is your will for me is. What is your calling for me is. Lord, would you put me in the place of my assignment? Put me in the place of my assignment. Cause me to walk into it. Just take me from where I am and put me there. And every once in a while, what if I veer off? Put me back. Just give him the license. And he'll do the stuff. And when you are there are telltale signs to know that you're in. Unless you're there. The provision comes for whatever. At whatever level it is, the provision just starts coming. And you start to flourish. You start to feel alive. The clock in your house feels its best when it's telling you the time. It's telling you the time, okay? Yeah. It would not feel alive trying to scrub dishes being used as a dish scrub. The dish scrub feels it's most alive being used to do what it's supposed to do. And people bloom when they're in that place where they're fulfilling the thing that they were made to be.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So the self-help books, there's no manual. There's no, so I suppose, man-made manual. You can't read 7 steps to X because it could be 7 steps to X for that demographic or for that one person. It's not the same for you. How are you wired? What stuff that you like, that you don't like? What do you like to wear? Stuff like that. All of it, the things that you would like, your hair type. I'm finding out now, God cares about hair, guys. He cares. When I found this out, I told him, I'm like, Lord, my hair's not growing. It's not doing what we wanted to. What am I supposed to be doing? And this is what he said: do the right thing for your hair, and it'll grow.
Okay.
Okay. So I quit the chemicals, and I just started a whole journey for hair. And I'm happy currently. I love my hair. I know. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. But yeah, it's the things that he's into, guys. You would not even. But why would he not? He put it together, right? He put it together. So, Mari, give him license. He's interested in the guy that you like. He knows your type, bro. Like, he knows the kind of guy you want to be with because he knows what you like. He also knows what you need. He knows the stuff that Hollywood's taught you. I've stopped trying to sift through everything. I've stopped. It's like a child behaving like an orphan when the parents are alive. Why?
Yeah.
Of what benefit is that to you?
Yeah.
Even more, how much would it hurt your mom for you to go scavenging out there as though she doesn't exist? She'll ask you, think I don't love you? Is that what you think? Is that what you believed? I think that's where people stumble. I don't know, honestly, if people have a right belief about God. Because out of right believing, right living follows. When you believe right, you live right. When you believe wrong, if you believe, for whatever reason, Yeukai, I don't know, doesn't like you. If I come late, like I did, if I come late for something, you'd be like, oh, I'm on the bottom of the list, of course. You know what I mean? You like there will be wrong living out of a wrong belief. So yeah, Maria is not as complicated as people have made him out to be. He's a present father. He's a present God. He's the strong God who decided to make himself a parent to you. So I'm not going to behave as though my parents don't exist. I go off it for everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was fun. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the pearls of wisdom.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me here. I kind of went on and on a bit there, but yeah. There was something about being here that made me come alive, and I think it's also a gift that you have.
Oh,
can I dive into that?
Okay.
I feel like you are coming into the place of your purpose by starting this podcast, and there's an equipping happening right now. Should I say this? Yeah. God has gifted you. You are the kind of person that you can see the gold and fish out the golden people.
Wow.
And I certainly feel as though I've been refined sitting in your chair. That's just my own personal experience. That part may not be a word of knowledge. But my own experience is I've been sitting in this chair, in your chair, and I feel as though someone has found something precious in me and brought it out that is useful. And that's a gift. And I am excited to see what God is wanting to do with this.
Thank you.
You have started, that He's doing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You should hugs.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is beautiful, and it's certainly an encouragement.
Cool.
Yeah. Certainly an encouragement.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Cool.
So that is it for today's episode of Capture the Thoughts. Join us again next time. Goodbye.